Okay, yes, we're going to record it so everyone knows that, just so we can share it with some people who weren't able to attend. So just so you're aware of that. But thank you. Thank you so much for coming. We love to talk about this subject about essential oils and emotions. But I just want to say we are not doctors and we're not here to tell you what to do. We're just sharing what we've learned and what's helped to us. And we do encourage you to do your own science-backed research. There's a couple of books we're going to refer to later. This Releasing Emotional Patterns with Essential Oils. It's by Carolyn Mein, M-E-I-N. It's a really, really good book. It's not like real deep, but it really goes into like the deep things, but it simplifies it. And then also tells you like certain oils for certain emotions. The other one is the Essential Oils Desk Reference. This is the big version, the desk, but there is a smaller version. So if you'd like to know how to get either of those books, but if you are really using oils, really suggest that you get the Essential Oils Desk Reference. It's very, very helpful for your own knowledge and what's going to help you personally. So we're going to be showing some pictures as we go on to help us. Feel free to take pictures or to screenshot whatever, so that you can refer to it later if you'd like, because we really want to keep this an hour. We respect everyone's time and we appreciate you attending. So the first picture, as we're talking about it, I want to talk about the leaf, okay? So if you take a leaf and you tear it or it gets torn, an amazing thing happens. The essential oil or the essence of that plant, it goes to that tear and it actually begins healing it. And Lori's going to talk more about the sciencey part of the essential oils and how they work when we breathe them in. But we want to remember that the plant's essential oil is the life force or the pure essence of the plant. And when like it brings out extracted through careful steam distillation, resin tapping, and cold pressing, the purest essential oils are far more powerful than the botanicals they come from. So I'm going to give you an example of lavender. So lavender, it takes 220 pounds of lavender, the botanical, to provide 7 pounds of oil. So it's much more concentrated and powerful than the actual botanical. And we've all grown lavender, bring it in the house. It smells amazing. We dry it, we use it for different things. But when it is steam distilled carefully, we get this powerful liquid, these beautiful liquids to be able to utilize. So I want to just briefly talk, many of you may know this, but it's really, we do not want to overlook the importance of purity. Young Living has what's called seed to seal. So this is not required by the FDA. In fact, you only have to have 5% oil to say it's therapeutic. So when you buy oils everywhere, you have to really be careful because they're basically not pure. They've been enhanced, they've been diluted, and a lot of them will even have an expiration date, which a pure oil will not have. Young Living, part of their seed to seal is they choose the healthiest seeds. They have sustainable farming practices. There's proper distillation techniques, which is individual for each plant. So there's a whole science that goes behind that. They have consistent quality of their oils because it goes through 250 tests, including a third-party test. And the other thing that really puts Young Living above and beyond is that you can go visit their farms around the world. We have friends that we've known gone to Israel, South America, Hawaii. You can go to Utah, you can go to the farms. You can actually go there. You can see the process in their facilities even. So we really want to express the importance, especially when we're talking about using oils the way we're talking about them today, that it's very important for us to benefit with our emotions if we have pure oils. Okay, so Lori's going to talk about the science now, and we might have asked ourselves in the past, when you smell peppermint, why do I feel invigorated? Like, why does that make me feel that way? Or if I smell lavender, why does that help me to sleep at night? So Lori's going to, explain some of this because it's similar to other things in life. Like, these oils can do this, but think about like when you might smell chocolate chip cookies, that might evoke a memory and take you back, whether it's a good or bad memory. Smell will take us back and to the past. And that's we're going to explain more about how we can move from the different emotions if they are bad to good. But Lori is going to first explain the science behind it. I'm ready for this one.
So first, I was interested to define what an emotion is. And I was interested to find that there's actually no scientific consensus on a single definition of what emotion actually is. But one definition I found is that emotion represents a mental state associated with thoughts and feelings. It's a conscious experience with intense mental activity and a high degree of pleasure or displeasure. And that emotion is often intertwined with mood, temperament, past experiences, personality, disposition, and motivation. But interestingly, we're not always aware of how emotions control our actions. They control what we're doing sometimes. But there's an obvious emotional, physical connection. For example, maybe when we get nervous about something, maybe we have to give a presentation. Our stomach feels queasy and we have to go run to the restroom. So we see that connection, and it's especially manifest if we continue to push our emotions down, that it really does affect us physically. There was a study done that 84% of 567 common complaints that people went to see their doctor for, such as dizziness or chest pain, indicated no medical diagnosis. So it proves the point that emotions can lead to negative health and actual physical consequences, especially for people who can't handle emotions well. So this is where essential oils can come in as a tool to help support us as we work to deal with our emotions. There was another study done in 1997 about individuals who repress their emotions. Emotions also suppress their body's immunity, making them vulnerable to a lot of different illnesses, from something as simple as the common cold to something much, much worse. So wouldn't you agree that these statistics help us to see that it's very necessary to deal with our emotions for our overall health? So let's talk about how our sense of smell actually works and then the effect it has on our brain and our emotions. So let me have a little couple pictures here. So can you see the
Yeah.
slide okay? Okay. So here we see the process of somebody from the time they inhale some odor molecules going up through the olfactory region into the limbic system of the brain. So like we see here, we inhale these molecules of odor or essential oils or whatever they are, and they interact directly with the lining of the nose. And inside this lining, there's tiny receptor cells, which let me show you a close-up view of that. So there's cilia in here, and then there's these receptor cells that you see right here. And so when they perceive an odor, it sends an actual electrical current through the receptor cells in the lining. And then that's perceived by the olfactory bulb right here. And we're going to take a little blow up of this olfactory bulb. So we see the odors coming in, and they're gathered right here in these little receptors. And then these represent the electrical pulses that actually are going into our brain, which you can see here, because here's the olfactory bulb that we saw blowing up in the other picture, and it's connecting directly into this part of our brain that's called the limbic system. And the limbic system is called the emotional brain because it handles emotional response, hormone function, behavior, motivation, long-term memory, and sense of smell. The next slide, it shows some of these specialized areas that we saw on the last slide that are within our limbic system. So we have the hippocampus. Probably a lot of us have heard of that. It's responsible for forming short-term and long-term memories and also focus. The amygdala helps us to perceive emotions like fear, anger, sadness. It also plays a role in controlling aggression and helps store memories of events and emotions. It also plays a role in sexual activity and libido. Then there's the hypothalamus. It controls reproduction, regulating hormones, sleep patterns, and body homeostasis. Also the septal nuclei, which is the pleasure center of the brain and learning through reward, and the cingulate cortex, which is involved in aspects of memory and emotion. So these brain centers perceive odors and then simultaneously access memories and their associated feelings and emotions. It's fascinating, isn't it? So when we smell something, an emotional shift occurs in response to the smell. So think about this, that I think we've all had the experience of smelling something that then triggers a memory for us. Like for me, we live here on the Gulf of Mexico, and when the Gulf smells a certain way, it reminds me of the smell of the Atlantic Ocean and takes me back to vacations we used to take on the Outer Banks. I think probably if each one of you thought about it, you would think of a scent, a smell that evokes a memory. Just take a second to think about that. And if you want to share it in the chat, please go ahead and do so. And I have, interestingly, it's not clear how this emotional response actually forms. Scientists don't know. They've studied all this. It's clear there is a response, but they don't know how it actually forms. And there's also been studies done that show smells or memories that are evoked by smell create a higher emotional response than just recalling a memory with no associated smell. I also thought this was very interesting. The study they did where they had 20 volunteers, they hooked them up to EEGs, so they're measuring their brain activity, and they had them inhale sweet almond oil, which is just like a neutral carrier oil, and they had them inhale jasmine oil. And so they monitored what the effect was on their brains, and they also were to state how they felt their emotions felt after they smelled each. So there was an increase in their beta wave power in their brain, and they described this was after inhaling the jasmine oil. Increase in the beta wave power in their brain. Also, they felt positive emotions like feeling of well-being, active, fresh, and romantic, they stated, and a decrease in negative emotions such as feeling drowsy. So the study just shows that there is definitely an effect on brainwave activity and mood states. So that is the science behind it, but how can we use this? Denise is going to talk about practical ways that we can apply this in our everyday life.
Yeah, thanks, Lori. I mean, I could just listen to that kind of stuff all day long. And there's so much, like even more involved. So again, like do your research. And if you really like geeking out and stuff like that, it's something like really worth looking into. But as far as practical ways, there are things that we do in life naturally to navigate through specific strong negative feelings that might come up in our lives. And when these negative feelings come up, we don't want them to extend their stay, right? We want them to be gone. So there's some things that maybe we do to dispense bad feelings. Like we could go out and take a walk. We could, go out and exercise. That's a good way. We could also, do some deep breathing, or do deep breathing while we're walking if it really is a negative emotion that we're going through. So we could distract ourselves maybe with a hobby or something like that. We could call a friend, right, to bend their ear, or maybe our supportive mate, bend their ear too. And there's also one of the best things we can do, of course, is pray to our Heavenly Father, because we know He hears our prayers and He will help us through difficulties. So we've all used these different ways in times that we are going through things, emotions that we really don't care to feel. And if we're honest with ourselves, sometimes we use some of these things, but all we're really doing is we're not really working through them or letting go. We might be just, pushing them down, like Lori mentioned. So there's a note of caution, because what most of us do, many a times we just stuff those feelings down. And some of us do this our whole life. And this definitely has a negative impact on our physical body. As Lori was mentioning, some of those different things that she was talking about. So if we stuff it down, it has to go somewhere, right? And this is individual. Everybody, where we all have our body, our physical body has weaknesses. And if we stuff it down, it's going to manifest somewhere in dis-ease, right? And it could go to if we're weak in a certain area. So one of the things we know, the liver can take a lot of brunt, because it's known that anger, resentment, it can be held or stopped or held into our liver. And this is not good, because it can manifest in various diseases, various health problems. So let's say we've all met that negative person, right? They're just so negative, and we think, what has that person been through that they're like this, And then you look at them, and many times they really have physical problems too. They're not healthy. So it definitely works together, as Lori mentioned that. I'm just kind of emphasizing it. So essential oils are a tool. Like we might use those other things to help us. Essential oils are a tool. They're not miracles. We still need to do the work when we experience certain bad feelings. Let's see, I lost my place. Bad feelings, they can be like, help, let's hang on here. I can use this oil. So let me grab Valor, for instance, okay? Valor is an oil that we mention is for confidence and courage. Does it give us confidence and courage when we put it on? Do we just become confident and have courage? No, that's not how it works. But learning about the science of essential oils, it can help me manage my feelings. So let's take me, for example. I put this on. I put a drop in my hand, in my palm of my hand here. This is how we take the aromatic breath. It's not coming out. And right now, I have apprehension, right, about coming on here and talking with all of you, because I care and I want you to benefit. I want you to have, value in what we can learn here today. So I take this Valor and I rub it circular, get those molecules going, and I take those 3 aromatic breaths. So the science of essential oils, what it does is helps me manage through. So now I'm not stuck in those feelings of fear or apprehension. I can move forward, and it's not stopping me from my goal, which is to talk with all of you. So Lori's going to show us a pic of the emotional state. And I love this because I love what it says here. So like take for instance, like Lori was saying about smell, we smell something, it evokes something in us. So when you open an orange peel, gives an example, that orange makes you feel good, it brightens your day, it just makes you feel better. So each essential oil's complex, pleasant, and unique scent triggers emotions and memories, which can help you search for a more fulfilling and balanced life, to help you to rediscover peace, balance, and joy. And yes, we have to rediscover it, because our lives, we've gone through things, and we have those memories, we have things that affect us. So we can use diffusion, we can use a soothing bath, a massage, and of course, like Lori said, that inhaling is one of the best ways that works very quickly in helping us promote a positive emotional state because of the science. So now there's many different feelings. So let's talk about that for a minute. There's this feelings wheel. This is a very simple feelings wheel. If you go on and Google feelings wheel, you will come up with so many, because there's a lot of different feelings. One of the hardest thing is to pinpoint sometimes the feeling we're going through. I have a problem with that. I feel something. If someone says, what are you feeling? Well, I don't know. It's just, and then you're like, I feel bad. I feel it. But it's important for us to be able to name it, name that feeling, so we can really work through it. So along with the different things we might do to help ourselves, there's an activity that we can learn that will help us to go from like these blue, red, and yellow zone to the green zone. And it's using essential oils to do this. It's called the simple emotional release exercise. So we identify the feeling first, like with this wheel. If we can't find a way to pinpoint a name for it, we can use this little cheat sheet, one of these feelings wheels, to help us to actually name it. So we first want to identify the feeling, call it by its name. If it's fear, grief, resentment, guilt, all of those are examples of feelings that something might evoke in us. And if we're really dealing with something like we've been through trauma or whatever, there is a book called Feeling Buried Alive by Carol with a K Truman. Now, I have not read this book. It came up, and it is a book that may help you. But again, I'm not really saying I'm being cautious, because I don't know. Some of these books can go into some things that maybe we are not comfortable with. But the one book too, again, is this blue book, Releasing Emotional Patterns with Essential Oils by Carolyn Mein, M-E-I-N. So that's also a book you can use. So what you do is you identify the feeling, you call it by name, and we can in that book it shows like specific emotions. So if sometimes emotions can even give you a physical pain. Like maybe you've noticed when you feel angry, you get pain somewhere. You could put the oil right on that pain, but really just get the oils on your body. It doesn't matter. There's certain points that are good, like your wrists, your neck. I love to put them on the back of my neck, especially up near my brain stem. Behind your ears is a great place for emotional oils. You can also put on the crown of your head or your forehead. If the oil is too strong, then sometimes you might want to put them on the bottom of your feet, or maybe you don't like the smell. So you can put it on the bottom of your feet. That's another way. And of course you could do the aromatic breath, which is always good. So sometimes in life, because of trauma we've been through and we're working through, it's extremely vital that we do this, that we identify the feeling and we work through it, we think about it and we release it and let it go. So we can heal and experience healthier feelings and a sense of well-being. Of course, you know, there are times when we may need a doctor. And so I encourage people, if of course it's something that's really, really a problem, please seek out medical help. So these negative emotions, the thing is we want to be able to move out of them. We don't want to live or stuck in a feeling. So like disgust. Let's think about when you smell something rotten, you come upon something rotten. What do? You literally move away as quickly as possible. And so we have a choice. Do we want to stay stuck in that feeling and experience it over and over again, keep being stuck in the past, which can lead to a destructive course, or we don't want to move from it? We can use these God-given gifts in these little bottles. We can use this to move from the red, the blue, the yellow zone to the green zone. So I think that's good with the wheel. If you wanted to take a picture or anything, that will be, you know, but like I said, you can go online and there's plenty of feeling wheels. You can look at many more detailed emotions too. So the key when we're doing this, or we're going to go on to some other ways that we've helped us with our emotions, is to recognize the feeling, consciously allow ourselves to identify the feeling, and then using the oils help us to replace, or at least at first, lessen the negative feelings, and then eventually replace them with a good feeling or a new feeling, like the wheel shows, again, moving there from red to green. So say we have trauma from a broken trust. Say we had, through trauma, we don't trust anymore. We have really difficulty with trust. So we could use essential oils to help support ourselves through that, as we identify it when it comes up. Okay, I'm feeling this. I don't trust what's happening here. We identify it. We allow ourselves to see how it's affecting us. We can do this by journaling and writing it down. This helps us with the process of starting to recognize the feelings and saying to ourselves, where do I want to go with this feeling? All right, where do I want to go? Do I want to stay here, or do I want to move away from it? So the oils, they do not create trust by using them, but they help us through the process. And the science of the oils promote new feelings. So actually replacing negative feelings with positive ones and establish new pathways to create a sense of well-being. So here we have some great examples. These slides are amazing. They're 4 slides. So we have anticipation, or surprise. So to help, you know, those natural feelings create a sense of well-being, we can use some of these blends. So again, if you want to take pictures of this, we can see anticipation or surprise and the oils that can help support us with those feelings. And then fear or anger. Again, we want to, you know, how can we support ourselves? We all feel this sometimes right now, especially with everything that's going on. We might feel fear, we might feel anger. We might deal with this all the time because of trauma that's happened to us in the past. These are specific oils that can, you know, have been developed through Gary Young, through his years of research, and put these blends together that can really help us. Okay, and the next one is trust or disgust. Okay, so again, disgust is something we never want to sit with very long. We want to get out of that, and it can help us. I love frankincense. Most people have frankincense. So that's, I mean, some of these oils you may not ever heard of, and a lot of them are blends and they have a specific name. Some of these oils like the forgiveness and the harmony are going to be in the feelings kit that I'm going to be talking about in a minute. And then the next one is joy or sadness. Okay. And this is probably some of the emotions we feel the most. There's times when we really feel joyful or we want to feel joy, and we maybe need some support in how we can feel joyful and sadness. How can we, work through sadness that's holding us back, and maybe help us to deal with that at the time. So those are all, so again, these oils are very like smell, like Lori was, it's very individual. Some people, I smell an oil, like the one day I put oil on myself and I was in a salon getting my hair done, and one salon lady was, what is that smell? It's horrible. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I love this smell. And she just hated it. So it's very, very personal. Like peppermint, most of the time you feel invigorated, but I've talked to people who use it for sleep. So everybody, it's different. And so it's fun to experiment and to really use different oils and see what works for you, what you're drawn to. Okay, so oils and affirmations. Okay, so this, of course, you could take a screenshot of this too if you want. This talks about the feelings kit. Now, I don't have the box, but I always keep my oils in this cute little bowl that I have here. And we're going to go a little bit through each of these oils. So Valor is step one, and I'm not going to go into the detail, but there are affirmations as you're putting them on. There's a specific place it recommends to put them. And then as you're going through this, these are, I want to remind you too, these are some of the most powerful blends that Young Living has. So I'm going to share a little experience. So while doing these affirmations, what you want to do is you want to take, it doesn't take that long to do this. So if you're worried, I don't have enough time to do this, it really doesn't take that long. And but when you first start doing it, and even throughout, it's important to allow yourself to feel the emotion as you use the oil and put it on. Pay attention to how it's making you feel and write it down, journal it. And the more specific you are about how you're feeling, the better. And it's something you can go back to. And maybe after you do this for 30 days, which is recommended, you'll see what in your journal, wow, I've been able to really work through some of these feelings and emotions that I've had for years. It does recommend when you get it to do it twice a day, but this is where my experience comes in. It's a word of caution. Like I said, these are very powerful oils. So when I was doing it twice a day, I would find myself then during the day, like I would do it at night and I would do it in the morning, and I did it for about a week, and I was like crying. I was like emotionally like a wreck. And I'm like, I talked to my one friend and I said, what is going on? She goes, oh, I would just do it once a day. So obviously it was really bringing up things, and I wasn't ready to handle the emotions that was bringing up. So I backed it off and I started doing it one day. So you may want to just start with one day. Once a day doing this instead of twice a day. So, okay, Valor is the first one. Then we have Release is another one. Release is really powerful. So let me tell you, this is the emotional keywords here are frustration, anger, harmony, fear of success, rebellion, and holding back. And when I'm just going to mention this one is Release is one that it's best to put on your liver area. Okay. Anger, liver, like mentioned earlier. So it really can help you deal with that, but it's super powerful. And some people when they get near it, they just start crying or they just get hysterical. So it depends what you've been through. You have to really key it into what you've been through in your life, emotions, trauma that you're dealing with, and just really personalize it to you and not compare what you're going through with other people, because everyone's different. And then another one is inner child. This is a sweet, sweet fragrance. To me, it smells like lilacs, in the spring when the lilacs come out. That's what it smells, and it makes me feel so happy. And it takes me back to when I was a kid and we had a big lilac bush, and just running around outside and smelling that as a running around. It's like an awesome feeling. It invokes a lot of energy. It's just a beautiful, beautiful blend. A lot of people just use this for perfume because it smells so good. Then there's Harmony. This one is also a beautiful, uplifting, and it helps with some of those things like stubborn, sarcastic, self-loathing, isolation, crushed, hostility, fear, punishment. So a lot of really strong emotions there. And then there's one that's not on here. Well, there's forgiveness. And then what was the other one, Lori? Present time. Okay. We didn't have a picture for present time. That's another one. So forgiveness here is, again, it has to do with trust, repeating the past, letting go. Again, forgiveness is very, very important. We even went through that today with our Watchtower study, right? It was a beautiful lesson about forgiveness and how important that is. And forgiving ourselves. We don't want to forget that forgiveness also means, and that was the one thing I had to work through, is forgiving myself and letting go and, moving on from that and not holding on to that. And then that other one, like I said, was present time, which is nice because it helps us, instead of living in the past, it helps us to see the need to think about the present and where we are now. Now, if you don't have these, the kit, and you can't get it at this time, but you have these 3 oils, this is also a way that we can use these. It's lavender, stress away, and frankincense. And what we do is we just, rub it on our hand, like I showed you, inhale deeply. And the affirmations you can say to yourself, you can pick whatever you want, but examples like I'm calm, I'm happy, I'm capable, I'm strong, I am loved. These are things that you can will evoke and create these new brain waves, to now directing them to more positive thinking and a more just overall inner wellness of your thoughts. So that's really good. So again, the key I just want to say is for our oils are a tool to recognize, acknowledge, and release negative feelings. And they help us to work through these negative feelings and help us to promote more positive feelings and thoughts. It actually can help to change those pathways in our brain created from past bad experiences that affect our lives and then affected our emotions. And so again, it's very personal. I just encourage you to use the oils that gravitate to you. And everybody's chemistry is different. Just be mindful of what works for you and just, have fun experimenting and just thinking how these are making you feel and if it's taking you where you want to go. So Lori's going to talk about another protocol, the Great Day Protocol.
Okay, this is something that I like to do. It's an essential oil routine featuring 4 oil blends, and you apply them to certain areas of your body while stating affirmations. And, some people might go, oh, affirmations, that's kind of strange. But I looked up the definition of an affirmation, and it's it's the definition is emotional support or encouragement. So we often think about how can I support somebody else emotionally? How can I encourage someone else? But we need to do the same thing for ourselves. And we can do it for ourselves by speaking positive words to ourselves. And that's what an affirmation is. And it's so powerful because we know that our thoughts lead to our feelings. So to start our day speaking positive thoughts to ourselves, paired along with the sense of the essential oils, is just such a wonderful way to start our day and to set our intention to have a positive day. Not to mention, you will smell amazing. So step one is to use Valor. And feel free to take a screenshot of this because basically it shows you the oils and what to do. But I'm going to demonstrate the Great Day Protocol. You can do it in about 2 minutes. And it's something that I usually start my day with. So Valor is the first oil. What you want to do is place a drop of Valor in your left palm. You like to swirl it around. And I'm going to take a deep breath. And then I put a drop on my left wrist. And then I put my right wrist on top of my left wrist. I just kind of hold my pulse points together there and just take a breath. You don't have to rush through it. And the affirmation you can say to yourself is, I am grounded, stable, and balanced. I am full of courage and confidence. Some people like to use Bible verses along with it. There's a verse in Deuteronomy 31:6 that people like to use with that. The next oil is Harmony, which Denise is also in the Feelings collection that Denise talked about it. So again, place a drop in your left palm, swirl it around, take your deep breath, and then rub it above your belly button, like below your chest and your belly button. And the affirmation you can use with that is, I am in harmony with the flow of life. I love myself and others. And the Bible verse with that is Romans 5:1, if you like to use that. The next oil is Joy. I think my Joy is almost empty, and let's see if I can get a drop to come out. I'll show you something here. If you need to get the orifice reducer off your bottle, just do it that way. Only if it's not completely empty. Be very careful. Oh my goodness. I think I got my last drop of Joy there. So again, put it in your left palm. Take your deep breath. And then you rub it over your heart. Clockwise motion. And the affirmation is, I'm full of optimism, joy, and contentment. I radiate joy in all that I do. And the Bible verse is Galatians 5:22. And the last oil is White Angelica. It's a very high frequency oil, and it's good to kind of keep negativity away. So again, we place a drop in our left palm. Rub our palms together. Take our deep breath. And then kind of rub it, put it on as a shield. You're keeping all the negativity off. And then the affirmation is, I am safe, protected, and secure. I can handle all that comes my way. I take in all of the good and none of the bad. So did you notice that all these statements were like in present tense, not saying I will or I want to, but saying I am. So we are saying what we want for ourselves for that day, and we want to do it in that manner. Then at the end, you have all these beautiful oils on your hand. So breathe them in one more time, kind of linger in it a little longer than I did, and just say, these are my intentions for the day. It only takes a few minutes. They say, depending on who you talk to, forming a habit takes 13 days, 21 days. So why not try this for 30 days and see what kind of changes you notice? Take note, do you have a better outlook on the day? Do you feel more positive in your life through the words that you speak to yourself and the oils that you use? And of course, these oils from the Great Day Protocol is what's in our drawing for today. So whoever wins that can practice this um, and notice how the changes that it makes in for you. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is citrus oils. I love some citrus oils. Um, their main constituent is D-limonene, which is so awesome for mood uplifting. They've actually done studies on D-limonene, and some of these oils, these citrus oils, contain up to 97% D-limonene. And studies suggest that it supports the part of the nervous system that's responsible for relaxation. So, in other words, it can decrease stress. So, some people call these sunshine in a bottle. And all of them, can affect you in slightly different ways. But I just love some citrus oils, and they're great even to pair with some of these other oils from the Great Day Protocol or the Feelings kit. So, and I think it was kind of ironic because Young Living decided to do this little flash sale at the end of this month. It started on the 23rd and it's going to the last day of the month of February. And um, these are all like emotionally supporting oils. You see the tangerine. So that's your citrus, your high in D-limonene. Kid Sense is Kids Power is in the Kid Sense line, which means they're already pre-diluted for kids age 2 and up. So it's kind of like Valor for kids, but it smells like a creamsicle. I like to use it. I don't have any small kids anymore, but I roll that on myself. That's one to put a roller top on and just roll on yourself. Stress Away, the name says it all. Just that's what it's for, and that's what it does. And vanilla just makes all of these smell better. I did want to mention a caution with the citrus oils. I forgot to mention this, that the citrus oils are photosensitive. So, meaning if you put them on your skin and you go out in the sun for even as much as 24 hours, you could have a reaction on your skin as in get a burn. So if you're going to apply citrus oils topically, that's great. Go for it, do it, but just put it under your clothes or on the bottoms of your feet, somewhere that will be covered. And then I did want to mention also that speaking of these sale items, until the end of the month, Young Living has this glow bundle that they just came out with. It's a diffuser in these 6 oils, including frankincense that we talked about before, orange in the citrus family, lavender, awesome for calm, Idaho blue spruce, amazing tree oil, which tree oils are so good for like grounding. And then we also have grapefruit and the geranium bourbon, and all of that's for $125. And also they reduced the price of their diffusers, 50% off for the dewdrop and the desert mist. Now this is a permanent price reduction for these two. So if you need another diffuser, let's go ahead and get one. It's really, this is the best price I've ever seen on any of their diffusers that they have. So that's what we wanted to talk about today. So now it's your turn. Anybody have any questions that they would like to ask about anything that was presented today? Comments, thoughts? Let me stop sharing. No?
I just wanted to mention too, those diffusers, that's the permanent price now. So that's amazing that those diffusers are half price, and that's going to be the permanent price. So that sale is like it's continuing, but the oils that are in that bundle, Northern Lights Black Spruce, super grounding, very high in I can't think of the word, Laura, you mentioned it, high in the
frequency,
high frequency oils. So
yeah,
any of the conifer oils are amazing. They blend so well with the citruses, the conifer oils like pine and orange, pine and lemon. Oh, they just smell amazing when you blend them together. I love those.
My favorite thing is to take my little diffuser formula, a flowery oil, a tree oil, and a citrus oil together. So, and you can make like I don't know, thousands of combinations that way, but
Yeah.
such
Mhm.
such good stuff. So anybody have any
Hi,
questions or anything they want to ask?
hi, Dennis. I have a question. I'm Ruby. Do you have anything for sometimes like the stress, headache, or the morning sickness kind of thing? Do you have anything like that sometimes when you are like overly overwhelmed or something to calm down into a calming stage? I know the lavender, but anything which doesn't allow, I mean, prevent little bit of sometimes like the nausea kind of thing.
Mhm. Well, stress away can really help with anxiety and stress. It's very quick.
Hmm.
Valor, frankincense, two are very grounding. There is an actual blend called grounding. Um,
Right.
and if you think that it's directly related to your like the stress related to the you said the feeling, is it dizzy or stomach or
Yeah, something with the stomach kind of,
y- yeah,
like weird kind of feeling because I have my
Mm.
little health situation. So that's why,
right, yeah.
it just
So we
makes me
have
feel like that.
digize. We have what's called digize.
Mm-hmm.
Lori has great, Lori loves her digize. It is not one that you want to diffuse because of the blends in it. It's not the best smelling. But it is a vitality. So you can actually put it in water and drink it. It's great with peppermint oil. That really helps. And that's the other thing with the seed to seal. You don't want to just take any oils internally. They need to be pure oils. So Young Living is the only company that has them for for internal use, and they have a vitality line. There's 47 oils in the vitality line. So the digize, that you can put on your belly. Many times if you are putting on your skin, some people who are sensitive like to use a carrier oil, mix it with that. But that helps with any kind of digestive problems, the digize. So I would suggest that. And then also any of the calming oils, like Stress Away, or like the ones I mentioned.
Peace and
There's some that
calming.
vetiver is good. Peace and calming, vetiver, which is that really helps with racing thoughts, which sometimes can cause us to have anxiety if we can't like calm our brain down. I had problems with that. I couldn't sleep at night because of racing thoughts. I have that in a roller along with cedarwood. Cedarwood's very good. And yeah, there's Palo Santo. There's a lot of different oils. So, but the 20% off on Stress Away is a really, really great one. And the Kid Power too. That's not just for kids. I mean, like I use it too. I have it right here. It smells amazing. Like she said, it smells like a creamsicle to me. It's just, it's so good. So those are things. So if you really feel like those symptoms are directly related to your anxiety or your stress that your body's going through or emotionally you're going through, then definitely I would suggest using those oils. And then to deal with the actual stomach problems, the digize and peppermint is good too.
I think Julie, I think you had a question, did you?
Actually, Dave had a question about when you were talking about the liver, and he wanted to know how, when you put something, I can't remember where you said to put it, but he wants to know how it knows to help your liver.
Yeah, it's amazing because what I've learned is that you don't have to put it directly on your liver. These oils are adaptogens. So when you put them on, you'll go in your body and it'll do what it needs to do. It's like I think about like if you're in a field of flowers, and you run through it, and how you can feel so bad, but then unless you're allergic and you start sneezing, but you know, how you feel, right? Like they just make you feel like I was saying about those lilacs. When I smell them, it just evokes this like amazing feeling of my childhood and the fun we had outside playing. And so it's, I don't know, it's just, I don't know, Laura, you study more of the science, but you were doing more specifically for the smell.
Well,
But
the one thing I can say is that book, Releasing Emotional Patterns with Essential Oils, is very interesting about, because okay, our bodies have frequency, right? Which we talked about in our limbic system. There's electrical currents running through our body.
Yeah.
So basically our body, we're electrical beings. You know, we don't think of it like that. And so what happens is the emotion, the frequency of the motion settles in the body part that has the same frequency. That's why they say anger is in the liver. And if you start talking to people who have noticed this, that they will have physical pains, but no physical reason. Like they'll go, their pain, whatever, here, and they'll go to the doctor and they'll do scans and they'll do this and they'll do that. And they're like, I don't see anything. But then they realize that it's an emotion that they keep stuffing down that's settled there. So what you need to do then is use an oil along with an affirmation, again, an encouragement for yourself to go to, like Denise said, go the opposite way. So that book, that Releasing Emotional Patterns, shows you what the opposite emotion is to what you're feeling, and an affirmation that goes so you can move from the red to the green, you know, and you know, like Denise, they'll tell you to put it on that area of your body, which is good, but really just get it on your body. That's the bottom line, because your body knows what to do with it, you know. But it's really interesting. And that book, even though it looks like a big book, you only read like the first part, and then the rest of it is kind of like a little dictionary where you look up and say, okay, this is the either this is a body part I'm having an issue with, and it'll help you identify the emotion that's the problem, and then the oil and the affirmation to release it. And I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, I mean, you have to do it quite frequently. The protocol is like so many times a day to apply that oil and to say the affirmation, especially if you're dealing with something that you've been stuffing down for a long time. But, you know, it all goes with that. What are we supposed to do when we have a problem? Let it go. But when we don't let it go, then
it's got to go somewhere.
Somewhere. Yeah. So does that answer your question? I don't know.
It does. Thank you.
Okay.
It goes where it go.
Yeah, basically. So, well, it's 4:00. We wanted to do the drawing for the raffle.
Yeah.
So let me share my screen and we will spin our wheel. And let's see. Can you see it? Okay. Oh, nice. Yay, Melissa. She gets her Great Day protocol. So
awesome.
That is awesome. I put in the chat a link to a Google Doc. If you don't mind filling that out, it's just a couple questions. And if you fill it out, we can send you the Feelings Collection Protocol and the Great Day Protocol. We'll email it to you. And it's just a couple questions about the class, what else you'd like to learn in a class. If you can just click on the link. Does everybody see the link in the chat? You can just click on the link there.
Sayan. Babure, Bolli.
Oh, sorry, you're not muted.
So,
and we can also our next class on that Google Doc. It's asking you when is this what our next class is going to be, either the 18th or the 20th, a Friday or a Sunday, and which you would work better. We don't know if Sundays, we usually did it Friday night, so we tried a Sunday, what would work better for you. So if you can let us know. And then the next, what did we say we were talking about next?
We are talking about springing into wellness
Yeah,
with, we
spring.
were going to talk about seasonal support, jacked up honey, and also a little bit into detoxifying our home, spring cleaning types
Spring cleaning,
things.
yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
that's the time of year we think about spring cleaning and how are we going to clean our house? What are we going to use to clean our house? So
Yeah. So, well, thanks everybody for coming.
thank
We
you.
appreciate your time, and we will see you the next time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.